under the National Labor Relations Act, for a labor relations violation, they have cease and desist. So they can have experts make decisions, and then those decisions go out, and they would only be changed on a Court of Appeals ruling. So the high 90% of the time, they're settled by the experts at the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board. At the EEOC, it's a different matter, and they brought in methods of conciliation and tried to do their best under, I think, a fretful law. And
Absolutely.
it's, you know, many people think, another thing I tried to do this, but I failed. There are executive orders, 11246 and 375, that we put out that said that people who contracted with the government had to have an affirmative action plan that showed inclusiveness for women and for minorities, 11246 for minorities, 11375 for women. That power, that executive power, was and is at the Labor Department. When I was head of EEOC, I tried to get that power in the EEOC, because I tell you, I would have solved 99% of the problems if I could say to a company, okay, now I'm going to go over to the other side of my shop, and I'm going to see what you're doing in terms of your contract. And you're getting $15 million from the government? You want to keep that $15 million?
Yes.
You better do right. But they fought me at the Labor Department, and I lost. And so it is still there, and in this day and in these times, it is a non-entity. It is an extraordinary power and should be utilized, but it is, you know.
In terms of its power, it's a non-entity.
I mean, if I can say you're sitting there in Halliburton or Boeing or wherever, and you've got $2 billion worth of government contracts, and you've discriminated against 15 women over here, and I want you to get that straight, and you sort of look over my shoulder and say, I'll see you later. Then I come back in the room and I say, well, now let me see. I just looked in your records, and you've got $1.5 billion in contracts. And under Executive Order 11246, if you don't establish A, B, and C, and D, you're going to lose those. And I'll take you through all the appropriate hearings so you can prove whatever you want to. You would, I think, in about 15 seconds have it solved.
That's right.
And that's leverage and that's power. So they knew what they were doing when they kept it out of my hands. That was very clear.
Absolutely.
But again, I think some of our political and civil rights leadership doesn't know what they're doing and don't know where to press the right levers. And they are, unfortunately, often consumed by some of the plaintiffs' lawyers out here who want to make a buck, filing in charges of discrimination, real or imagined,
Yes.
and following them through the process. But when you think about people in the world of work, you want them less exposed to the friction of it because of what their fellow workers will think of them. And that would be a far better way to have done it. But the great Senator Dirksen, my nemesis,
Yes.
took that out of the bill in 1964 when it was debated. So the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is Title VII. It still performs significant functions in some instances, but the right to bring the lawsuit isn't the EEOC. That's private lawyers out here doing it. They are the ones who generate this stuff. And a number of federal courts, I heard many years ago, that 30% of the cases were EEOC cases, and judges hate this. They, you know, because it shouldn't be there, you know, because
Absolutely.
it's basically factual determinations. He said, she said, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Since 1964, it has been functioning like that.
That's right. And the logic of it is, from business's point of view, from the plaintiff's point of view,
Yes.
it'd be far better to have an efficient setup.
Oh, yes.
But when it was taken out improperly, became a habit, then when you had it put in by the Nixon administration, really to pervert the law, I mean, to do what it's done, make it less effective, it was embraced, unhappily, by a number of civil rights leaders who didn't pay a damn bit of attention to the facts. And, you know, I mean, you do have to do some work in this world. I mean,
Yes,
before you get in front of the
research.
camera, do just a little bit of research, then get in front of the camera and say something that has some meaning. But in this case, you're dealing with millions of lives in this country, and it is a very logical thing. It still can be changed. I mean, Congress could change it tomorrow. It's not a Republican or a Democratic or an independent issue. It is an issue, really, of how do you get equity in the world of work in the most efficient manner and the fairest manner, and stressing both fairness and efficiency, because you have people, instead of judges and lawyers and juries arguing about things that they don't remember, in the immediacy of an issue, that it is examined, the facts are presented to people who understand that situation, decisions made within a couple of days of that, and the decision takes place. And you still, as any American in most issues, you have a right to appeal it to the Court of Appeals, but it doesn't end up that the premise is you go someplace and sue somebody. The premise is let's get fairness and let's get it quickly for people.
Absolutely.
But it just doesn't take place.